Good evening, Prerana, Padmashri, and Aishwarya. Am I audible? Okay. So, how is your practicing? So, by this time, so many people were joining, but today only three were there. So, after finishing so many topics, how do you feel in SAP? So these are the steps we have to follow to create condition type in the implementation part of the GST. Type SPRO, SAP reference IMG, financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings, then tax on sales and purchases. There you could able to see basic settings. In that, select this option called as calculation procedure. So you have to follow this calculation procedure. Then here we have define condition. Then you click new entries and make ensure have you created this Q100, is it available or not, you check once. So it's already no one has created here, then directly you can use this new entries, and here you type condition type Q100 and name that as input CGST, sorry, SGST, and here the term called uh, MWST. So to select that, click here, take the position, scroll down, say this MWST tax classification. MWST means tax classification. Next, condition class. As I said, A means discount or any surcharges is if that applicable, then you select. Then calculation type, that has to be percentage wise. Okay, this is the first one. Then you click next. Okay, next entry if I wanted to conduct. So here I made a mistake, one small mistake. This is to be D. D means taxes. Taxes in percentage. DA. Okay. Then again click next and name that as Q101. Then input CGST. Then MWST. Here D. Then next this is to be A. So as I said, D means taxes, then this is to be percentage. Click again next, Q102, input IGST, then MWST, condition type D, then calculation type A. So now again you click. So I three things I've created. Again you start W100, that is for output SGST, again MWST, take taxes, calculation. Next again W101, output CGST, MWST, condition type A, condition class A, condition class is D, taxes and calculation. So SGST is over, CGST is over. Next W102, that goes to output IGST, then MWST. Take D and A. Then finally click save. Okay, and do not select any other option here. Save. So once if you save, then you would get a list what and all you have created. So come back. Say this is the list what I have created. Condition class taxes, condition type percentage. So this is the first step for creating this one. Any doubts? So this is step number 1. Okay, so next what has to be done? We have to work for check and change the tax processing. So in the same menu path, I'll be using same menu path. The heading is called as check and change settings for tax processing. So in this case, same menu path, basic settings. Then here select the option here, press enter key. Then again you start new entries. In that new entries, you define, name that as Q10, which is input SGST. Then Q11, this would be a input CGST. Then Q12, this would be an input IGST. Then tax type, whenever you define this, specify that as 2. Then posting indicator also 2. Posting indicator, this is to be 2. Then define one more as W10, name this as output SGST. Then here tax type number 1, again W11, output CGST, and posting indicators 2. Then W12, again this would be an output IGST. So same indicators, same tax type. Clear? Then we do practical one. So come back, close this. I'm selecting this check and change settings for tax processing. Click on this. New entries. So Q10. Then here input AGST. Then tax type. I have to select what is this input. One means output, one is input. So I'm selecting number 2 because it belongs to input tax. Then indicators, posting indicators. So I wanted to have in separate line all the things. So I'm selecting number 2. So click again next. Then you take Q11 input CGST, tax type is 2, then 2. Make ensure again input, then this would be separate line item. Next again Q12 input IGST, then tax type 2, posting indicator again 2. Next, when it comes to output W110, then here I'm selecting output SGST, then tax type, what needs to be selected, output tax, not input tax. Then indicators, I wanted to have in this must be in separate line item, and follow the same configuration. W11, there you select output CGST, tax type is number 1, then posting indicator is 2. Next W12, then output IGST, tax type 1, posting indicator 2. Then save it. Save it. Come back and see what and all you have created. So output and input CGST, SGST and all we have created. And see the configuration what and all I have given here. I hope all of you understood here. So you ask me if you have any doubts in the configuration. Okay, next again in the third step we have to define procedure. Calculation procedure, and inside that define procedure. And you follow the same menu path up to this much is same. Then select this, then you define new entries. Then whenever you opt for this new entry, then is asking there will be a 2 column inside that area. Number first column is procedure and description. So these are the two columns you would get. In that you write GSTIN and describe that name for tax procedure for India. Tax procedure India. Okay, because whenever you create a company, their option called country. Okay, this is to be applied for country India. Okay, that's why we are creating this one. Okay, then finally save this. Now let's see. Come back, follow the same procedure. Financial accounting global settings, tax on purchase and sales basic settings, then check calculation procedure, then define procedure. So inside this define procedure, click on this new entries. Then here you type GSTIN. Then here the name or description to be entered, tax procedure for India. Then you click save. Okay. Then there is a one more column called as control data. So in that control data, we have to enter one minute. We have to enter control data next to that. In the control data slab, new entries, click new entries and follow this. So you have to select, but make ensure have you been entered or not. Okay, that all parameters like in that step column and condition type, it means C type. Okay, so in the next column there we have from, that is to be no, we can call it as 10. Okay, then we have an acknowledgement copy, means that needs to be selected. Number 10 already whatever we created. Then 10 is BASP, it means base value, base amount. So in the base amount, that amount, tax amount has to be calculated. So that's why I'm taking this reference called as BASB, base value, and 20, that whatever you created tax calculation Q100, from it is to be 10, then acknowledge again Q110. So whatever I'm entering here just for the demonstration, then same thing has to be entered in the control data. So Q101, then this is to be what, again 10, anything you take 10 and define that as Q11, then that is for 40 I'm taking, then Q102, then again take 10. 10 means it is a base value. Why I'm taking from is base value. So on that base value, the tax has to be calculated. So Q12, next again 50 you take, then what we have here W100, again base value, then what you would take, W110. When it comes to 60, W101, again base value, then W20, because already, sorry, we created 11 not 20, and then 70 I will take, then W102 base value, W12, then finally save it. Okay, now let's enter the same one in SAP. So here we have control data. Double click, select this, double click, and here we have a table. In this table, click new entries. So by selecting this option called as GSTIN, so here whatever you have created, that has to be that needs to be saved first. Select this, then double click on control data, then you click new entries, then this would be enabling automatically. Okay, then as I said 10. Okay, so condition type BASB, as I said, base value. Check out here in this list, base amount, then from, not to enter anything. Next again I'll be taking 20. So according to this one, Q100, then from, then acknowledge, as I said here, acknowledges Q10. So this account key, then 30 Q101, this is to be again 10 Q11, then 40 Q102, base value 10, then Q12. As per the table you have to enter, but in between do not press enter key until gets complete. I have pressed enter key, so the description is updated. Then go to 50, then W100, 10 W10, next 60 W101, then 10 account key W11, next 70 W102, 10, then W12, then finally save this. So for this one, not to enter anything. So they are saying that data is already entered. Clear? Any doubts? So once if you created this slab control data, that GSTIN whatever you have created tax procedure for India, that needs to be assigned for your country. Okay, so come back. See the procedure. In the same menu path, there is an option called as assign country to calculation procedure. Clear? This is what we have done. So next step, assign country to calculation procedure. So menu path remains as same. Select same menu path. Use the same menu path. Global settings. Then tax on purchases. Then option is that goes to assign country to calculation procedure. Then that would ask country. So here enter country name. Country is India. The code is IN. Then type procedure name. Name as GSTIN in that column. Then click save. This is the steps. Let's see once. Same steps. Assign country to calculation procedure. Take position. Country is India. So here something is updated TKCP. So this is not required now. So if you wanted to know about TKCP, and let's see, TKCP is what? See, sales tax for triple one, sorry, quad ones we have. So somebody has created this one. Okay. Now we don't want this one. We created that GST one by the name of GST itself. So double click here and save it. Cleared. Any doubts? Okay, now we have to create a tax code, input tax code, and also specify what is the tax rate. Okay, so here next step is define tax code for sales and purchases. So tax procedure up to this much, same menu path. Then next you have to take define tax codes for sales and purchases. Then is asking country, type India. Then is asking tax code, type T5. So just I'm giving that name, then enter tax code T5 and description column you write input tax. So enter this description. Okay, then tax type V. V means it is input tax. Check mark. So what I'm using here, so I'm defining the tax codes for sales and purchases. I'm following the same menu path, and country is India, tax code is T5, and what is T5? T5 is a name of the, actually it's a variable of, it's a code variant for input tax, and the tax type I am, just I'm defining here itself the name it as V, so which is given by SAP itself. So V, which refers input tax. Okay, then we'll see by practically come back. As I said here, close this, go to calculation, then here we have an option to define tax code for purchase and sales, then asking India, country. This is what I was uh, explaining here, tax code. So there I took T5. Okay, press enter key and is asking T5. T5 name is what? Input tax. Then tax type, here we have two things which is defined by SAP itself. Okay, V means it is input tax. Then A means it is output tax. So here it is input tax given by SAP system. There is one more name, one more tax type, V means, then A means output tax. But here I am conducting only input tax, not output tax. Okay, then later on you create whatever tax code you want and name that as A for the next time. Okay, I'll be taking only one thing here which refers as input tax. Then finally save this. Okay, before saving that you have to press enter key and check out that parameter. It means the tax rate, how much is to be applicable. Go to SAP, then press enter key. Here is asking percentage, so I am taking 14 percentage, so it means 28%. Okay, only for intrastate, not for interstate. Okay, if you are making any transactions for interstate, then you define IGST 28%. Okay, I'm taking here only 14%. Then you click save. So tax code T5 was created in the status bar, which is showing that. So here press enter key or click on green color tick mark. Then enter tax percentage. So in this example, entered 14%, input SGST 14%, then again input CGST 14%. 14%, 14%. So percentage sign is not required. So only percent, no, without percentage, just enter, then save it. Then once it's done, we have to create some ledgers. So create general ledgers FS00. Okay, so there you create, name that as input CGST, then again input SGST. Okay, first one will take SGST, then we'll take CGST. So these two comes under asset side. So we created so under liabilities you create output CGST SGST. Then make ensure here you have to create one more under purchase, under expenses create purchase of goods, then the income ledgers create sale of goods. So these ledgers to be created first. Okay, so let's have 5 minutes break, then we'll continue. So now we'll try to create ledgers using /n-fs00 and make ensure what is the last number we have created for this. 1,03,000. Next one you take 1,04,000. 1,04,000. Press enter key. This to be an asset. Let it be a balance sheet. Name this as input SGST account. Again input SGST account again. Then again control data. Do not select any options here. Select line item display 001, field status group G001, save it. Then again press enter key. Now input SGST is created. So similarly I have to create one more. Then now what I will be doing is I'll be copying this one. Then I will be name that as 105 and go to type, then name it as CGST. Here also CGST instead of SGST, and make that as CGST. Then rest of the options remains as same, which is carried and which is copied from that area, and save it. So this also we can create general ledger. And next we have to create one more output CGST and output SGST. Then number range 2,03,000. Then you take 2,04,000. 2,04,000. Enter. Then here you take an asset. Sorry, that goes to an liability. Balance sheet. Output SGST account. Output SGST account. Control data. Line item display 001. Create bank interest G001. Save this. Then do copy again. 2,05,000 you take. Copy this and change the name. Output CGST. Output CGST. Save it. Next we have to take one more, expenses under purchase of goods. So when you create this, click display and make ensure most of the data remains the same. Only one thing we have to change, the tax category we have to check. Okay, for sales and purchases. Then what I would like to do is I'll click the change button. I'm modifying this purchase of goods, and in the list select the option called as tax category. Click this tax category and open. There is a star mark, allow all types of tax. Double click here and save it. This is for purchase of goods, and save it. And next again sales under income, sale of goods, click modify, change or modify the ledger, select the tax category, all types of tax, and save it. Okay, whenever implementing that GST for purchase and sales, the once that ledger is created, then allow this particular option for tax category wildcard entry like a star mark. Allow tax types allowed. Save it. So this is what I've done here. Check out here. So tax category is star. All types of tax allowed. Again select and apply and save it. That's all. Now we have to define which are the tax accounts which are going to be debiting and crediting. That goes to define tax account. Up to this much is same menu path. Then you take purchase tax on sales and purchases onwards. There is an option called as posting. In that posting, define tax accounts. Then search for input SGST Q110, and then input CGST Q11. I hope you are remembering this. Input IGST Q12. So what you have to do is just do double click, then enter chart of account COA. That was 7676. Then it's asking tax code, so select tax code option, then follow the same option. Suppose if any error that occurs or if that are asking any updations, then you have to define posting key. Okay, so there itself there is an option called as click on posting key button. In the account column, select input SGST ledger account Okay, first we do practical, then we'll come back. SPRO. SAP reference IMG. Financial accounting new. Financial accounting global settings. Tax on purchases and sales. There is an option called as posting. Then you define this. Define tax accounts. So here you search for input CGST and input SGST, whatever you created here. Say this Q10, Q11, Q12. Double click and is asking chart of account 7676. Press enter key. Now if I select the tax code now, then if I click save, now is asking tax code and account. So tax code is T5, then account was input CGST, that we have to be selected. Press enter key. Input CGST, and again you click posting key. Sorry, so it's saying that posting key is not defined. So first we have to define posting key. Now double click, enter, directly click posting key and enter. Debit will be 40, credit will be 50. Then you click accounts, save. Then you define T code, T5, tax code and account type, input SGST, save this. So now it is saving. This for the first one. So similarly you come back, similarly you do it for Q11, Q12 also. So after double clicking, directly click on posting keys, say yes, then define 40 and 50, save it, then click accounts. Account is SGST, sorry, CGST, and save it. So this has been configured Q10 and Q11, and similarly go for W series, double click, again posting keys, say yes, 40, 50, accounts, yes, save this. What is account? Output SGST, that needs to be selected in the same field, output SGST, then click save. Then only that would allow you to save. And again output CGST, click posting keys, say yes, posting key, 40 and 50, accounts, say yes, enter. Then this would be CGST, that needs to be selected, save. So up to this much is what GST configuration. Okay, so our next concept is we have to post. Okay, FB60 /n FB60 Okay, directly we'll try to raise the vendor invoice. So I'm selecting this one. So now I'll be taking Harish Private Limited, sorry, Kavita Enterprises, 25,000, sorry, date, amount is 25,000, purchase goods worth rupees 25,000. Then this side, select purchase of goods, amount 25,000. So here you have tax code. I think you could able to see here. Then you select T5. Okay, see the changes now. Then use plus mark, then 7676, and click on this calculate tax. When you opt for this one, wait for a while. So 7676, so it's been updated. So this has been calculated. Then go to payment, business area 7676. Then what you do is simulate general ledger and see the rest of the calculations, almost, which is calculated around 90%. Only one thing we have to check is that calculated or not. See, input CGST, input SGST. So 14% is calculated. Got it? I hope all of you understood. Again, practice this much for vendor invoice and similarly do it for customer invoice, but T6 you have to create for that. So whatever I have done only for T5. Okay, that is for input tax. So most of the configuration, basic configurations which I've taught you here, what has to be done for output tax. Okay, only tax code you have to create and you have to implement that in the customer invoice. Okay, so you ask me if you have any doubts before winding up the class. Okay, so see you all, meet you up in the next class.
Thank you, sir.